Welcome to your Canadian real estate market update. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what's happening in the marketplace. I'm going to share data, boots on the ground that you may not have access to that is going to affect the next couple of months of your purchasing or selling decisions. We're going to talk about major headlines in the news, some massive policy changes. We're also going to dig into when the next rate hike announcement may be made, what that might look like, and how it's going to impact the future of the Canadian real estate market. If it's your first time to the channel, welcome. People just like you are coming here every single day asking us questions about real estate. And it's the one thing that I've got my black belt in. I own prime real estate with my incredible wife. We are a diversified brokerage. So I do residential, investment, and commercial. So I have a really good insight as to what's happening in the market as a whole. Also have a massive network. So we are located in Southwestern Ontario, Canada. The home base is London, Ontario, but that whole Southwest pocket from Kitchener to Sarnia, Lake Erie to Lake Huron is our playground. So we see what's happening in larger markets like London, smaller markets like, say, Grand Bend and Port Stanley, and what's happening in the rural markets and the developing markets. I also spend a ton of time networking with some of the smartest minds on the planet and getting their thoughts as to what they're seeing in and out of real estate. I talk to economists, mortgage brokers, and I take all of that information and I bring it here. We also drop it in our monthly newsletter, so make sure you're signed up for that. But let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the stats. The first thing I like to do is dig into the actual statistics for the ITSO board. So ITSO covers a large portion of Ontario, a lot of markets, but gives you some good trend line data. And this is a 5-year trend line. So we are October 2022, and the average sales price, the median sales price, is $651,550. So if you go back to October 2021, you're looking at 710 as being the median price. So you've definitely seen a drop there. The number of new listings in October 2022, 9,757. October 2021, you're looking at 8,494. So not a massive difference. And again, look at these cycles. They are very standard in terms of how the inventory fluctuates. There was a big spike in May when all the interest rate hikes started happening. And I think everybody smelled that coming. And October 2022, for the number of homes for sale, there's 18,903. That's actually less than if I go all the way back to October 2019. So October 2022, there's 18,903 homes for sale. That is not that much higher than October 2019 of 18,402. Sales volume for October 2022 across the board, 4,562 homes traded. But in December 2021, 4,421. If I go to October, 8,016. So you are looking at a marked difference from October to October, but realize we are heading towards December, given that I'm publishing this in November. So you are seeing that drop to match this same rate from 2021. This one always surprises people. The average days on market is 22 days, October 2022. Look at this. If I go all the way back to October 2021, I go there, you're 12 days on market, so 10 days less. But if I go back to 2019, you are 22 days on market, the exact same days on market as it was in 2019. So that should tell you something, because it doesn't feel like that when you read the media. It makes it sound like homes are taking forever to sell, but the average is the exact same as it was in 2019. So the months of inventory is 3 for October 2022. I jumped back to 2019 and it was 2.7. So they actually had a little bit less inventory, but very close to the same rates that we have. This whole block of 2020 to February 2022, call it, this is where everybody was saying, none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. So if you want to be conservative in your purchasing and selling decisions, maybe think about 2019 as your kind of baseline price for establishing what the futures may be, or the investing decisions that you might be making. Months of supply, 3 months in October 2022, October 2019, 2.7. So you're almost seeing things going back to 2019 levels. The madness of 2020 to 2022, clearly low inventory levels, which led to the bidding wars and all the craziness that everybody was involved in. But this is where we are at today. An average price per square foot is $413, October 2022. And in October 2021, 457. So just under that same mark, but it does look like we still have quite a ways to drop to match the 2019 dollar per square foot number. And I don't know if it's ever going to go back to that number. And total dollar volume of sales, 3,400,000,000, let's say, October 2022. Let's go back to 2019. You are looking at 3.2 billion. So we actually have a higher number of actual transactions and dollar volume of sales. Obviously, price has gone up, so the total volume of the sales is going to be higher. But look at the markable like trend line that you see that's consistent across all these years and all these drops. It may make you think a little bit differently about the stats that you're reading in the papers. I love digging a little bit deeper and showing you these sets of stats as well. So the average sales price in London currently down 4.1 from last year, $640,000. There's 975 new listings compared to the same October last year. There's about 10% more inventory on the market. Sales activities down. There's about 1,000 transactions called it last year. Now you're at about 504. 3.2 months of inventory in London, specifically in 23. Median days on market. St. Thomas, average price 509, down 13%. 90 new listings, 50 sales, 2.6 months of inventory, 21 days on market. You're looking at Elgin County. The price is down about 20% to 617, 146, 37 new listings, 13 sales, 5.3 months of inventory, and 50 days on market on average. And Sarnia Lambton, another market we cover, the price is only down 2%, 471, 486, 214 listings, 128 sales, just under 3 months of inventory, 2.9 and 21.5 median days on market. There's one trend line you see everywhere. It's the median days on market. If your house hasn't sold in those days, it's three things. It's price, condition, or marketing. And it usually goes in that order. At the low enough price, somebody will buy it. If it's in decent condition and it's priced well, likely people will show up. If not, you need to rework one of those three items. Next, let's dig into a couple headlines. First off, Ontario is looking at raising the foreign homebuyer tax to 25%. It's currently set up at 20%. And what they're trying to curb is speculation, people coming in, buying pre-construction, multiple units, and taxing them at a higher rate to make it not as economically feasible. I can tell you, boots on the ground, the investors that were doing a lot of speculation have really cooled off with the changes in the real estate market already. So wondering what impact this will have has only yet to be seen, but there are details about this tax you should be aware of if you're investing or investing with a foreign home buyer. Because if there's a foreign home buyer, for example, involved in a group of 4 people making a purchase, you would think that he was the only one that has to pay the tax, but not so. In some of the details, it says that they will charge 100% of that purchase, the tax, if one of the parties is a foreign home buyer. So make sure you do your homework and you're working with professionals. Second article is based in London, Ontario, and it says that London was hit by the highest average rent increase, 33% in 1 year. Now, understand that there are swings in the rental market, just like the real estate market, but a lot of people that decided, I'm not even going to sell my house, have started putting their houses up for sale. So we've seen an increased supply when it comes to the rental market. On the other end of that spectrum, we have seen student rental prices go nuts in terms of what people are charging for individual bedrooms on quality properties. So the rental market is definitely seeing some compression, and I'm not sure it's going to be alleviated anytime soon. Fun fact, London, Ontario is actually a test market, which makes it great to keep an eye on for overall trend lines. Has a very captive audience, diverse population and product type in a small geographic area. Very dense, and one reason people tend to really like London. If you want to do any work in the London, Ontario area, let us know. We can definitely jump on a call and help you out there. So we talked stats, we talked headlines. Let's talk interest rates. So the Bank of Canada has their next scheduled announcement on December 7th. I would anticipate, given what the Fed just did last month, they raised it 0.75. Canada only raised it 0.5. I bet you they're going to be raising it again. Whether they turn that lever 0.5 again or down to a quarter, I have a feeling it's going to hedge closer to that a half point increase. Will lead me to believe that they're good. They're going to watch what happens in January, February, and March. They made an announcement, and we talked about this on the last market update, that they are going to look at the data, but they also know that the data is lagging. We are going to see supply chains starting to get backed up, but it's going to take some time. So if you're forecasting your purchasing, investing, and selling decisions, people are still buying and trading right now. There is a marked increase in activity, probably because of the good weather and kids are back in school and all that jazz. But I do think that from a planning perspective, I would say we're going to be likely fall to early 2024 before we really see that lagging data catch up. Now, consumers from a sentiment perspective are finally starting to feel like they can see an end in sight. I think the last 6 months have been so quiet because people felt like they had no idea when this was going to end. Is it going to take longer than that? Maybe. If an agent's just telling you that you need to buy something now because we're at the bottom, run screaming for the hills. You should be working with people that are looking at the individual purchasing opportunities and looking at those in their own right. You want to pay attention to the macro. You want to know what's happening from a macro geopolitical perspective, but your decisions are micro, right? Where's the property located? How are properties like it trading? Where does it stack up in your 1, 3, 5, 10-year plan? Are you actually able to afford that property? What is the opportunity cost of you purchasing that property? It's a very complex endeavor and something that you shouldn't be rushing into, but you also shouldn't be fearful, because I also think a lot of people are going to look back at the next, call it 18 months, as one of the best opportunities to get into the market in places and product types that maybe they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So we're definitely seeing a marked increase in activity in the single family and the residential purchasing, especially resale in amazing neighborhoods. The investment market has definitely taken an earmarked jump. We see a lot of people putting offers on investment properties. Commercial is buzzing. Farms are buzzing. People are still doing land acquisition. So it's really that I'd say higher end or newer construction that's a little bit slower right now, but I don't know how long that's going to last. As other projects come on offline, the current inventory becomes more desirable. So we're going to keep an eye on it. We will update you guys every single month. That is why we do it. I'm just telling you what we are seeing. I don't necessarily have all the answers, but I will go find them for you. And I promise you, I will deliver them in the most honest, transparent, and truthful way that I can. Definitely appreciate you being part of the Prime Nation. If you want any more insights on neighborhoods, the pros and cons of where to live, you like looking at really beautiful homes and getting off-market inventory, then you can also hit subscribe. We drop all that on this channel. If you want anything specifically covered in our market updates, simply reply to the email or comment on this video. We do everything for the Prime Nation, and I will make sure to incorporate it into the next video. But for now, I will catch you later.